Welcome to this webinar. I'm Alexander of InvestGlass. It's a pleasure to have you today and also to see that we have people coming from all over the world. We have people coming from China, from Hong Kong, from Singapore, the Emirates, Europe, Switzerland, and the UK. And it's a pleasure to have you for this webinar where we'll talk today about sales and compliance process. Let's dive directly into InvestGlass product and show you what we have today into the sales process and the compliance process. Before we actually start, I have to say that this presentation is not for legal advice. We are not legal advisors. We're not investment brokers, advisors, and dealers, and therefore, what you're going to see now is just for educational purposes and not for investment advice. Now, that being said, today we're going to talk about building a scalable sales and compliance process. So where do we start? Well, InvestGlass, as you know, is a turnkey solution with a CRM, a portfolio management system, and many other tools. But obviously, the mindset of InvestGlass is that we can connect and orchestrate the different parts you have into your existing system. So if you have already a wealth management system, a portfolio management, or even a CRM, InvestGlass helps you to have a one API touch point to connect all the dots. This is very important because if you want to be scalable, obviously you want to use the best tools, and no tools are irreplaceable. And that's very important into InvestGlass mindset, is that you can actually permute all the tools when you need to permute them. And this is actually very, very important to build a scalable process. Now, when we are talking about scalable process, it means also that you have to decide what type of process you wish to establish with your clients. And this is very important because this is the core of your added value. Here we have three types of processes. They are not incompatible. So you could have a brick and mortar, an hybrid, and a do-it-yourself processes all at once. The difference between the three, basically a brick and mortar is a face-to-face meeting, the one you have on the left, where a prospect or a client will come to a brick and mortar, so it means to your office, to your premise, or you might come to your client's home or working place, and you're going to have a face-to-face human interaction. This usually is very helpful if you have, I would say, a high net worth individual type of relationship and you need to actually engage with a lot of empathy. Obviously, you can also, with a mass retail experience, engage with a brick and mortar, but then it's a scalable issue that you'll have to face. On the hybrid, and this is what we'll see later on when we'll get into InvestGlass, it means having a client filling part of the account opening process, or perhaps it's the legal advisor or the trustee of a client. And then the client can answer later on with the CRM that is connected to the forms with missing informations. And then the banker will actually validate the process before sending it to the compliance officer. The last type of, I would say, onboarding possible or process is do it yourself. So then here it's the client that is going actually to answer questions and onboard himself or herself into the different customer journeys that you wish to bring. Now, all those processes are not incompatible. I know sometimes some people will say, well, we're doing private banking, so obviously do it yourself, which is robo-advisor, is incompatible. Well, I'm not that sure because clients are very impatient. Some clients have time, those others don't. Some clients have all the papers for account opening, some others are slightly more messy. Some clients can have a process of account opening that is quite straightforward because it's just simply an ID card, and other will come with complex structures of companies, multiple signatures, and different documents that you cannot collect at once. So here the idea is to reduce frustration of account opening with different types of onboarding processes and build at the end what we call a digital native brands. A digital native brands is basically being able to put whatever fintech, whatever process you want based on the client's expectations in terms of obviously account opening process, but also financial services that you will engage with the clients. Here, what you see on the screen is the different steps of the sales cycle. The sales cycle is obviously compatible with private equity, with venture, family office, brokerage, private, and retail banking. What will differ here is the different types of modules that you will actually play with, like a Lego, based on the customer journey that you wish to deliver. And everything obviously is possible because we have this Dintenli, which means in Swiss German little octopus API. Why an octopus? Because basically InvestGlass, like an octopus, helps you to connect to different API points. Some of you here currently are using the API, and congratulations on that. It's quite straightforward because we also have bridge with solutions like IFTTT, Zapier, MuleSoft, and so on. So building an API is very easy, obviously. We can help you to do so. Now, if you want to use third-party solutions, always try to find if there's an API, because if there's an API, then there will be a way to get it connected and get the data into your favorite CRM InvestGlass. So with no further ado now, I'm going to jump into InvestGlass and perhaps show you one very important thing. If you're stuck into InvestGlass, you always have here a direct access to the need help. Here you have a help desk with about 70 articles. I guess that you'll find most of the answers that you need in those articles. Now, simply here you can type in a one word. So here I'm looking for the compliance officer role. How does it work? As you find here, InvestGlass has a lot of articles that will help you. Another way to actually find some content, as you might know, is to look on YouTube, and here you will find InvestGlass channel, where you will find about 20-ish videos showing you different features. The last way to get help is obviously to click here on this little smiley, and this little smiley will actually have always someone, could be Sasha, Diego, Raj, Alexander. There'll always be someone helping you and answering your questions. So if you have any questions, there's always a way to actually help you. So don't get stuck. We'll find a way to help you with the different onboardings that you have. So now, welcome to InvestGlass. For this experience, for this presentation, I used my favorite mockup company, which is Wishawk. So as you see, we can completely customize the different layouts to make it truly compatible with your existing branding. On the left, you have the website that is seen as a relationship manager, as one of your team member, and on the right, we'll see the website seen as a prospect and later on as a client. All right. So let's start from the beginning, which is using InvestGlass for the first time. If you use InvestGlass for the first time, you will have to go to My Accounts and Company to set up few stuff. Don't worry, it's not too difficult, but those steps are quite important, because if you don't use it, then later on it will be quite messy to, I would say, change the data. So the first thing will be first to have your employees here. As you find, InvestGlass has a system of hierarchy with employees, groups. Each employee will also have a role, and this role will define the access. What do I mean by that? Well, if you are a user, well, you won't be able to manage the team. And this means that you will be able to see your colleagues' clients, but you won't be able to actually change the KYC, change the CRM information. If you're a manager, you have obviously the rights on all your group members. And if you're an admin, you have the authorization to do the same, but not only for one group, but for all the groups. We have also a role that is master admin. This is more for your chief information officer or your CTO, basically the one that is going to be your technical head. And we also have a compliance officer here, played by a beautiful Mary Stevens. The compliance officer will have some specific roles and specific access, such as the 4 eyes and different audit trails options. So once you actually created your users and set up the roles, the next step will be to set up your CRM. To do this, just go again to My Account Company and click on Settings. Into the setting page, as you can see, obviously you can change the different images, disclaimers, as well as the mandatory KYC fields. Those fields are quite important, partly if you wish to have a fluid experience with InvestGlass. Here we have a list of about 30 fields. Obviously, we can put any fields in this. If you make them mandatory, then this means that the fields will show up more easily, and also there will be some kind of compliance check later on. So once you've done this setup with the mandatory fields and the employees, usually the next step is to create the tags. As a lot of you here today know, you're InvestGlass user for quite some time now, tags are very important. Why? Because tags will be used on many purposes. They will be used obviously to categorize clients, but also to categorize securities, as well as documents. The first step is to create a tag category. We usually advise you to have at least one category for a client sales pipeline. So it will be the client status, for example. Then one access for the client's preferences, for example, investment thematics. So here you will find then creating tags, and each tags are going to be related to a tag category. Fine. So once you've done that, well, basically you have InvestGlass set up for the first time. That's not that complicated. Obviously, if you have any questions or you need suggestions about the tags that you should put into it, just let us know. We're more than happy to give you some mock-up lists. Now, how do I create an account? How do I create a contact? There are different means. The first way, obviously, is to use InvestGlass by yourself. So you create here from the hyperlink, this navbar link, a new contact. Here you can use, our email. And then you have other options that you can activate, such as activating the client portal. So this has been the topic of last week webinar, how to use the client portal. Basically, you have two ways, either with a username only or with an email, and this depends very much of the level of, I would say, confidentiality that you wish to use into the machine. But here, I'm just going to show you how this works. All right, this is prospects. We've been talking about Obamacare, and we've been talking also about socially responsible investments. All right. So now here, all the information is stored into InvestGlass CRM. As you see, it's beautiful, it's easy to use, you have the right information in the right place. Next step, obviously, will be to add some more information, either into the KYC or into some key parts of the applications that you find here. To do this, just go on Edit KYC, and you'll be able then to change, for example, the client's name. So let's imagine that our client's name is Maria Jose, and our real name is Delmont de Castro. Okay. She told you that she loves socially responsible investments. Okay, she's Spanish. And you can also link this person to a family. As you find out into InvestGlass System CRM, we have three different types of links. For individuals, we have families, we have trustees, and we have companies. In most CRMs, you only have one level, which is the company or the group. The reason for that is that most of you actually engage with your customers not only on, I would say, private banking side, for example, but you will also have commercially the commercial part, and perhaps this client can also be part of the third organization. So that's why you have this different levels, right? So here, she's part of Castro family. Okay, let's just put Castro. She's living, I would say, it's a fake address, obviously. Okay, in Spain. Okay, I'm gonna put this in Madrid, and we'll see later on for the power of attorneys. Okay, so this is saved. When you do this, InvestGlass is going to capture the information coming from the company. So if you add some information into this part of the application, all the members will have this information directly going into their CRM. This is very handy. Obviously, for family relationship is not that needed, but if you have employees and you don't want to write all the information again and again and again, basically, this is the way to do it. Now, let me show you a client with slightly more information. So I can go here from contacts, search for a customer, and here I have my lovely DAB. The reason why I'm changing the client also is to show you that we can use InvestGlass in a completely anonymous way. As you see here, the client's name is actually not used. The client is linked to a company, and you will see this little trigger here. This little trigger shows that we have some missing information for that customer. So that's very handy into the sales process, because that's the way compliance officer will make sure that their staff, their team is actually fulfilling the information correctly. Here, for example, this client is living in Singapore, all right? And now you see I will have no more triangle warning me. A very important feature, and partly with the new regulation we have in Switzerland with LS in FIDLEG, but obviously also in the world of GDPR in Europe and soon in China, is the way that the CRM will help you to track each fields. InvestGlass has an audit trail tracking. I'm going to show you now how it works. On this presentation, we actually use the third role of the compliance officer to restrict the audit trail. So let's open another InvestGlass app, and I'm going to connect myself as Mary Stevens, our favorite compliance officer, all right? And let's check now at the information she will see as a compliance officer into the same DAB CRM page. Now she has access to an additional function, which is the audit trail that you find here. And that's very handy, because you will see here all the audit trail change for each customer. And this is very important, partly if you're connecting InvestGlass to a third party, for example, API, like WorldCheck or LexisNexis. We have a question from Frederick. What is the workflow for the configuration mandatory KYC fields, and how can schedule a recurring mandatory review and maintenance of record? So thank you very much, Fred, for this question. This audit trail is set up on the back end of InvestGlass. So we activate basically the audit trail for you, and the audit trail then is based on different objects. What is an object? Basically, it will be the contact KYC, it will be the audit trails trading, it will be the content management system or the tags. All those objects obviously can be recorded, and the scheduling of the reviews then are something that is set up with our backend, and your compliance officer will receive automated nudge to actually check the information. Now, obviously, as a compliance officer, you need to track all your clients. So on the audit trail, you will have an access to all your customers' changes, okay, and you can track it. So it's a lot of information, obviously, and we activate objects based on the needs. But this will fulfill most of the requirements you have throughout Europe and Asia in terms of audit trail. Now, let me go back into this process. Here into the CRM, you have all the information that you need to quickly engage with the clients. So if you wish, for example, to give a phone call to your clients, this will open your voice over IP or your local landline system. And on the back end, you will find here a new call report. The new call report, it's here to help you store information, and this information will be then stored into a beautiful and pre-built call report for financial professionals that you are, which means that for each call report, you'll be able to link it to a security as well as documents. And into our European regulation is not that relevant, but for Switzerland, for example, with the new LS FinFidLec, you can also automatically, by clicking on this notify contact by email, send automatic email to the customers with the actual content of the communication. Obviously, this is a very easy way to transmit and share this information directly with your customers. Now, the CRM also has a way to generate email just with a one click. We will have, for those that want an integration with Outlook, that you will find your emails directly into InvestGlass, or from your Outlook, you will be also able to trigger some tasks into InvestGlass. Talking about the tasks, InvestGlass has a task system. Here I can say I want invite the client for a fund presentation in Monaco, and I can save, this event into my calendar. All right, so let's say it's for the 26th, and I'm going to save it. So now I have a calendar here, and I will be able to see here for my clients, DAB, that I have to do something on that date. All right. This information obviously will be saved here, but it will be also saved into your leads. So leads is the pipeline. This is where you will find all the investment opportunities, all the interactions that you have. You can permute the different columns. So if you want to change the columns order, or if you want to see different types of information, this is completely customizable based on the types of process that you wish to have. So you can save the views, you can change the columns, and here leads is really much, I would say, your cockpit. This is where you're going to start every day looking at what's going on. So this is where all the information will be collected. And this is also where you'll find the list of the tasks, if this is what you want to see, or if a client is idle in terms of contact information. All right, so now let's talk more about an account opening process, and see how this would actually work. Just for the matter of this experience, I'm going to go back into this wonderful DAB, and as I'm a compliance officer, I'm going to close the account and then I'm going to open it again. Okay. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, so let's start now from a very basic process. Let's imagine that you want to capture new leads. So now it's not about entering a new leads into your CRM. It's more about having clients coming to your websites and self-onboarding themselves. So from InvestGlass, you can create your own forms. So what is a form? Basically, it's a questionnaire like the one you find here, which will capture from a public website some contents: first name, last name, all the information that are needed to actually have the first contact with your company. Those forms can be built within InvestGlass, and also is a subject of another webinar. And obviously, InvestGlass forms, I think, are quite good, but if you want to make them even better, you can work with third-party solutions like Credas or OnFido to actually build different types of process that will, for example, facilitate the onboarding with face recognition or passport checking directly from a public website. If you're interested by this topic of, I would say, high the high quantity or large amounts of account opening processes, we have a very nice process that we can share with you, and that obviously will help you to speed up the account opening process. I would say this is more for retail approach. For private banking, or I would say asset management approach, you would rather use this type of, I would say, small forms, or this type of robo advisory type of approach that you find here. So for the matter of this experience, I'm going to create an account for example, here, okay. Okay. So what is going to happen now? The client just filled this form. You're going to receive via email a warning. So let me show you how this would look like. You see here, okay, a new contact has completed the welcome form, and indeed I can click obviously on the view answers, or I can find this this new lead into the call report. So this will generate automatically a new contact. All right, the information is stored, and the audit trail will start as soon as you actually activate the relationship. Now, obviously, into the audit trail, we already have the information recorded about this customer. Now, what we found out is that this information is not sufficient, but I want this customer to have access to the portal. So to do that, I can go here on Edit Settings. I'm going to use this email, and I'm going to use the process of username. This usually is used by private banks that want to send by themselves the invitation. So now what is going to happen is that I'm going to receive two emails. Okay, the first one is going to be here a login, and the second I'm going to receive just after, as you find here, a randomized password. Okay, so I can use this this login, or you can send it from your mailbox or via different types of chat system, and offer, as you find now on the screen, a completely white label portal. You see from the little icons here with the trees, from the address of the knife bar, everything is branded with this company West Oak. So this makes the whole thing very, I would say, compliant and beautiful. Here, as I'm a new user, a new prospect, I'm going to have to sign the company's terms of services. So it's going to be your own terms of services. And here you have an empty page. It's quite empty, but that's on purpose. It's to show you that with InvestGlass, you can actually, like a blank page, like a Canva, build your own experience based on the different types of customer segments. So how do we do this? Well, simply from my account company, you can play with the portal. And here I'm going to have, let's say, I'm going to put two things. First, I'm going to put the TV. Okay, and I can select for which segment of clients or which segment of employees I want to use it. And also I'm going to put, let me try to find another one. Let's put here the currencies. All right. Now I can decide to put the currencies only on the client segments, or only on the new prospects, because I don't want all the clients to, I don't want my clients to sit. I just want a prospect to actually see something that is not empty. But let's activate for here. And now let's refresh, and voila. As you find here, I just created my own e-banking with few clicks. Obviously, you already have some of those features, so you'll come to me and say, hey, Alexander, I want to integrate those features. How do I do that? Well, from InvestGlass, you can actually create your own widgets and bring those existing widgets into InvestGlass. InvestGlass is completely open, which means that you can obviously, from this widgets feature, build any type of experience you want. Now, to make sure that you can also bring whatever data you want into InvestGlass, we have an API. This will be the topic of another webinar that we'll have later this month. And here you will find the different types of API calls you can do from InvestGlass. This is the open one. We have also different types of API objects we can offer you access to if you wish to build from InvestGlass content your own applications and then offer them into the portal. So without being too nerdy, we're going to go back to Jean Lebon and we're going to offer in some options to self-onboard, all right? So Jean Lebon is here. Okay, and now I'm going to ask some quick questions to Jean Lebon. So if I want to ask him questions, obviously I can call him, I can send an email, but because I have not that much time and I want to have a scalable process, I'm going to use different types of tools that I have here, such as uploading forms and documents. Before actually I do that, I have to make sure that the client is properly tagged. And I found out that the client tagged is not sufficient because he just tagged himself with his investment preferences, but we don't know if it's a prospect yet. So to do that, I'm going to use the tags and say it's a prospect. And obviously with a name like Jean Lebon is French. It could be Canadian or Quebecois, but here it's Frenchman. All right. Fantastic. Okay, so now I found my new tags here. And I'm going to upload some documents and forms. Okay, so files will be PDFs, forms will be more like as you will see, some questionnaires that the client can self-answer. So here, I can either find the whole list of documents, and you see we have documents in Chinese. So obviously, this gentleman doesn't speak Chinese. This is irrelevant. So to make your, I would say, your selection faster, we have this checklist button. And here, as you find now, InvestGlass is just going to highlight the 2 questionnaires that are actually needed. So the welcome one and KYC source of wealth, right? So yeah, let me put here, can I actually, yeah, I'm gonna add another one, the OECD, in fact, is gonna be interesting, or the compliance test. Let me put the compliance test, changing my mind, all right, so that's fine, we are among a little group of connoisseurs here. I can select client portal visibility, client notification via email, and then magic, you will find here a little flag and your prospect will be invited to look at those questionnaires. So what's nice is that InvestGlass questionnaires can be connected to the CRM, which means that if actually it was not the right spelling, it was Jean Lebon, but with a space and a capital B, the client can change this information by himself. And in fact, he loves wine, obviously as a Frenchman, and is interested by green investing and now more around, let's say, European leaders. Okay, so now the client actually changed his own information into the CRM. Obviously, don't worry, everything is going to be audited. So as you've seen previously, so you won't lost the previous answers. But now if I refresh on the left, you see the name has changed. The compliance officer will have his audit trail. The client will have, the relationship manager will find the information change into the timeline. And this will have an impact, obviously, on also the investment preferences that you find here. Okay. Now let's imagine that we want to go one step further, which is to ask some typical questions for account opening or knowledge. The client can find here some compliance tests, and I'm going to do now the process of digital signature. Okay, and I'm going to reset my password. Yep, so this sometimes obviously happens. So here I reset my password here, and I'm going to receive in a few seconds a randomized password for this DAB account, where I'll show you how to have the digital signature process. So bear with me, this will take a few seconds, but like this, I can tell you also that we have different types of signature process. So InvestGlass has its own signature process, which is a single verification. Obviously, what I want to show you now, this is the reason why I make you wait a few seconds, is I want to show you the two steps process where we're going to find also the verification via a telephone or an email. All right, so let me go back here. So now let's go for DAB and okay, sorry for that. So let's go back to this compliance test now, field of tests. This is what you've seen already. So the test is going to be replaced with a PDF. And then I'm going to ask for this PDF to be signed. So here I click on edits, I select the approval method, request client sign. And now the client is going to have the signature process not via the portal, but via his email. So I'm going to use my account email to show you that. The reason for that is that we found out that about a third of your clients will be reluctant anyhow to sign from the portal because they lost the password, because whatever happens. Here I have a link to this document. I'm going to sign it. Okay. Now the system is going to ask me if I'm the holder of this email address. This will generate what we call a one-time password now. That you find here. And I use this one-time password to sign this document. So what you will have now is everything. The signature, the different elements such as the timestamp, the one-time password that are going to be added directly into this PDF file. So obviously, as a relationship manager, I'm going to receive a notification that an approval has been done. I'm going to find also here the signature. So the document is going to have a status change, and we're going to move from awaiting signature to approved signature. I show you this because this will be relevant for any type of account opening, any type of processes that you would have. If it's for retail, if it's for private banking, if it's for private equity. The reason for that is that at the beginning, everything is easy, cheesy, and you have the onboarding that is easy to do. But when you start having a lot of documents that you want to store and work and audit, you must have two things. First, you have to have a vault, you must have a signature, and you also have to have some place for the client to store all these documents. So here, all the documents are stored into the client's vault, which means that the client will have everything in the same place and will find when he signed it and who signed it. That's also very important because some of our clients have structures where their clients have trustees or lawyers, and obviously the end user has to sign it, and the lawyer or the wealth manager is preparing the documents to be signed. So this is a very handy way to mix this approach in what we call an hybrid system. All right. Obviously, each steps of this account opening process is audit trailed. And then when the account is ready to be open, you have into InvestGlass a system which will help you to actually have exchange between the compliance officer and the relationship manager. So everything will be stored, I would say, in a very handy way, and this will help you to facilitate the process of account opening. So with that being said, we've seen the big features of InvestGlass, the big features, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any suggestions, of course, we are more than happy to collect them. So that being said, have a lovely weekend. And if you come to Geneva, please let us know. We'll be very happy to welcome you here. Have a fantastic day and speak to you very soon. Bye-bye.